I've been a perfectionist for as long as I can remember. Ever since I was a kid, I was always really particular, really detail oriented. I wanted to be proud of the work that I did, and I always aspired to be really thorough, right? I think that comes across in like almost everything that I do today. I think I'm very much still a perfectionist, but as I've gotten older, I've realized just how harmful and toxic perfectionism gone awry can be, and how if left unchecked, perfectionism can really hold you back in your art career and your career in general, and ruin your relationship with your creative practice. So today, I want to talk about when perfectionism is a good thing and when it's worth leaving it behind. I talked to a lot of beginner artists in our Discord server, and they're all like, I want to start my art career this year, like I want to start posting on YouTube, but like I need all this gear, right? Like I need a fancy camera or fancy equipment. Like, what editing software do you use, Kelsey? You're like, how do you get so confident talking to the camera? And I'm like, it's practice. It's literally just practice. You have to be bad at it at first. If you are holding out from starting things because you need it to be perfect, because you have to have like all of the equipment or the software or the confidence or the perfect plan, the perfect video script, the perfect plan for your artwork, the perfect sketchbook, the perfect pen, you're never going to get anywhere. You're always going to be inventing more and more excuses to delay yourself from starting. Perfectionism, when it comes to like just the gear, the equipment, the like, I have to have all of my ducks in a row to start, I can't even think about going into this unprepared, really holds you back. You might be in that unprepared stage for your entire life. Like, you are never going to feel really truly ready for the obstacles life will throw at you, or for starting a new business or a new venture or posting on YouTube or like whatever you want to do. You are never going to have all of the information. You are never going to feel fully prepared. And so it's really important to be willing to be unprepared, to be willing to do it scared, do it uncomfortable, do it afraid. Do it even when you don't really want to, when you feel like you have none of the answers, when you feel wholly unprepared. That's when you need to start. Because if you don't, you might never. And you might never know what your life was going to be like if you had. And perfectionism, that fear of just like being inadequate, that like deep-seated aversion to being bad at something, to being uncomfortable, will really hold you back. So I'm gonna confide in you for a minute here. I don't know how to ride a bike. I am 23 years old. I've lived in Alaska, Alabama, Minnesota, New York City, all places where like riding a bike would be great. And I do not know how to ride a bike. I've never successfully learned how to ride a bike. And it's exactly because of the thing that I'm talking about, because I'm a 23-year-old and learning how to ride a bike for the first time would be really cringe. And I have yet to like overcome that sense of cringe to get where I would like to be, to have that skill that I would like to have. I think it's embarrassing for me. Like, I would find it really embarrassing to like try and learn at a public park or even in like a driveway or something, to be bad at it at first, to fall down over and over. But like, I fully acknowledge that if I never get over that fear, that like deep-seated discomfort at being seen by the public, by random strangers who I will never see again, at being bad at something, I'll never learn how to ride a bike. I won't. It'll never happen. Like, there's never going to be the day where I have read all of the books possible on riding a bike and I know all of the theory and I feel super prepared and I'm like an adult prodigy at riding bikes right out of the gate at my first try and like succeeding, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna bat 100 at riding a bike like the first time. I'm gonna fall over, I'm gonna skin my knee, I'm gonna be really bad at it. It's gonna be embarrassing. But if I ever want to learn, I have to get over that. I have to be willing to be uncomfortable. And I think the same is true with kind of anything in life, you know, like be it your art career or learning a new skill, you have to be willing to be bad at something. And a lot of it is just like getting the fuck over yourself. Like, those people that are watching you on the street don't care. They're never gonna think about you. No one is thinking about you nearly as often as you think they are. Like, just stop thinking that the world revolves around you, you know? Like, what you think of as maybe the most embarrassing moment of your life that you spent in public, someone has literally never thought of again, probably after the incident happened. Literally never. And it's just really important to remember that like you are not the main character in everyone's story. Sometimes you're just an extra, you know what I mean? And that it's okay to be bad at stuff in public. It's okay to be a beginner. We were all once a beginner, and that's okay. Just have some grace with yourself, you know what I mean? Like, put your ego to the back burner and really invest in yourself and the skills that you really want to have. And the other way that perfectionism can really hold you back is that it can ruin your relationship with your art because it robs you of joy, because you look at your art far too critically than maybe you should. So in my experience, when it comes to my creative practice, my art, and the paintings that you're seeing right now, perfectionism holds me back in two ways. The first one is that I might never finish a painting, a specific painting, any given painting, because I feel like I've already made too many mistakes, that the painting is now doomed. Sometimes this is true, or at least I think it's true, and sometimes it's not true. That when I keep pushing, right, when I keep trying to fix those mistakes and move forward, it does actually work in the end. And I'm actually working on a painting, like a video for a painting right now where that's very much true. It's not these two. These two were like, they were fine. I don't know. There were moments, sure, where I felt like I made mistakes and then I had to kind of walk back from that, but I did push through and did finish them. And I just didn't put the pressure on myself for them to be perfect. I let perfectionism kind of go on the back burner. I pushed it aside and I worked through that feeling of having to have everything be perfect and amazing and fantastic. And I just contented myself with it being done, right? Like, I just want a finished painting. I was on vacation for a week back in Minnesota in the winter wonderland. I was snowed in because of a blizzard. And I just want to like put my brush on the canvas again. I just want to get back into the habit of creating. This painting session doesn't have to result in a masterpiece. It's just for practice. I just have to let myself be bad at something. And there's an important caveat here, right? Like, seeking mastery is one thing. And I think being critical of your own work is really important, but being hypercritical of your own work is something different. And there is like critiquing yourself and acknowledging your mistakes and your flaws in any given piece. And then there's like robbing yourself of the joy of finishing anything, of doing anything right, that can really like soil your relationship with your art and really make you resent creating it all because you have talked yourself down so much that you feel like you are incapable of any success. And I feel like people sometimes lose the nuance there on the internet especially, but it's a really important thing to remember. Like, there is honest, healthy critique, and then there's like toxic perfectionism that convinces you that you are incapable of doing anything correct, and that maybe a painting is never truly finished because you keep fiddling at it and, like, I like to say, licking it like over and over, like making marks without real purpose. It's tempting, like both of those things. Like, sometimes I really do feel like I went into a painting session just like with bad luck. Whatever it was that was happening to me during that day just did not put me in the headspace to make good choices. And then there's the other situation in which I'm a little bit too critical and I have to put the painting aside and just like clear my head and come back to it again, a different day, like a fresh start. So perfectionism really, if you aren't careful, can cause immense damage to your confidence, your creative practice, and your art career. It can hold you back from launching new skills, from trying new ventures, from starting new businesses, from really starting your life, right? Like creating the life that you really want to have. And it can ruin your relationship with your art because it might hold you back from finishing a painting at all. It might convince you that the mistakes that you've made in the past are not resolvable, that you can never come back from them. Or it might rob you of any joy that you would feel at finishing a painting to start off with. So I really hope that in this video you came away with some good takeaways here. I think it's difficult to put perfectionism on the back burner, but just acknowledging like you are a person that has made mistakes, is making mistakes probably right now, and will continue to make mistakes in the future is important to remember. And that like you are both capable of terrible failures and great successes. And both of these things will happen over the course of your life. And you can't be perfect all the time. It's just not possible. I hope you guys enjoyed this short painting process, like pep talk motivational kind of video. It's a little bit different from my normal stuff. And if you liked it, consider liking and subscribing. And also I want to give a big shout out to this piece of art right over here. It was made by a lovely member of our Discord server. I will put their socials down below. It's free to join. I would love to have you over there, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. Oh, and those paintings that I made in this video, by the way, those will be in my new print collection coming very soon, just so you know. Okay? Okay.